Boru Aboye. Good is the enemy of great, folks. Good is the enemy of great. As long as you're cool with being good, as long as you're comfortable with being good, you're never going to be great. And when I say great, I don't mean rich. I don't mean famous. I don't mean you can leap a tall building in a single bound. When I say great, I mean you have the inner satisfaction of knowing that you're optimizing all of your internal resources. You're optimizing your body. You're optimizing your emotions. You're optimizing your mind. Okay? You're really giving it your all every single day. You're trying your best. You're working the hardest to be happy and to be fulfilled, to be of service, to improve your skills and your ability and the quality of your service or the quality of your product or whatever it is that you do in the world. You really are devoted to bringing that into the world in a better way. That's great. That's great. Okay. Within Orisha Lifestyle, we have established a kind of a bad habit of just being good. There's so much information out there. There's so many books. There's so many Facebook groups. There's so many websites. There's so many blogs, right? That people just bounce around aimlessly from one to the next without ever really optimizing any of that information, without ever really committing to that information and committing to it in the sense that I'm going to use this information to the fullest to get the most out of my life. I'm going to use this information to the maximum to see everything it can do to improve the quality of my existence, to make me a happier person, to make me a more confident person, right? There's a trend of just glossing over the I was going to speak in Spanish, the superficie, the surface, of things. And so it's important that you make a decision that you're not going to settle for being good. I myself, I offer a lot of information. I offer a lot of videos and blogs and all that kind of stuff. And there are people who've been on my platform for years, and I appreciate it because there's no real fluff on my platform. There's no sensationalism. I'm not promising a bunch of ridiculous things. I'm giving you a pretty straightforward and down to earth breakdown to how this practice can be implemented for your betterment. And so the thousands of people who tune in to me every day are there because that's what you're there for. And I'm excited about that, and I'm delighted that the message resonates with you. And I want to push you a little bit. I sometimes will allude to the fact that I used to play some drums, the Afro-Cuban drums, and the drum I played was the okonkolo. If you play bata, you understand. There's kind of two schools of thought with the bata. Some people will teach you all the drums at the same time so you can learn the conversation. Other schools of thought, they will just teach you one drum at a time and you have to master that drum and then move up to the next drum. Well, I never got past the first drum, which is the okonkolo, but I learned a lot of important lessons on the okonkolo. The okonkolo keeps a steady beat. It's simple, right? Ki la, ki la, ki la. It's really usually a very simple pattern that it plays. But as the timekeeper, the job of the okonkolo is to push. You know what I'm saying? You're in time, but you're pushing it just a little bit. You're driving it a little bit. You're driving it a little, right? It's speeding up just a little bit to keep the other drums, fired up. And I like that. As an educator, I like to keep pushing. I like to keep driving you. I don't want to drag you, by your toes and just, you know what I mean? But I do want to push. I do see the necessity for you to get this and get it now. Don't wait. If you say it's going to take you 10 years to learn, it's going to take you 10 years. If you say it's going to take you 10 months, you know what? It's going to take you 10 months. And so I want you to take that 10-month approach. I don't want you to be in a hurry. I don't want you to be frenzied. All that's not necessary. But you need to commit. You need to say, I'm going to get this information and I'm going to make this my practice, and I'm not going to let anything distract me. That's how you go from being good to being great. Okay? And in the long run, Ifa tells us in so many instances how important it is to optimize your resources in that way. The most notorious story, of course, is that of Oyekbolu, Oyekbolu was born into a priestly family, on his father's side and on his mother's side. But Oyekbolu himself never learned the craft. His mother and his father ended up dying, and Oyekbolu still didn't know how to perform the ancestral ritual. It fell to him to uphold that tradition for the whole community, and everybody gathered for him to, consecrate and refresh the ancestral shrines for the whole community. And it was then that it dawned on Oyekbolu that he had failed to take advantage of this lifelong opportunity. He didn't know what to do. He didn't know if he was supposed to put water first, or gin first, or palm oil, or obi, or rogbo. He had no idea what to do. Now that verse is beautiful because it does illustrate, that Oyekbolu could always outstretch his hands to the ancestors, and they would help him. They would support him. They told him what to do next, right? It was the spirits of his mother and his father who guided him through the ritual, and he was able to execute it successfully. So we give thanks. But it's also a cautionary tale. It says, you know what? In reality, Oyekbolu, you kind of brought this on yourself. You waited. What were you waiting for your whole life? Waking up in the house with your father and your mother every day, but you don't know how to do the prayers. You don't know how to make the offerings. You don't know how to cast the obi. Why? It's because you chose to do other things. And so I want you to go from being good to great, right? Oyekbolu was good, so he never decided to be great. I want you to wake yourself up right now. I want you to be great. I want you to make a tiny step towards being great. Now, as I said, I make, so many offerings, right? And some of them are big. Some of them are $700. But then I got offerings as low as $3 a month. Commit. Some people, you've been procrastinating and putting it off. You've been going back to school. You've been getting your degree. You've been writing your dissertation. You've been doing this. You've been trying all, you know what I'm saying? You've just been lollygagging. Get up. Move up. It's time to move up. It's time to move on. Okay? Stop being comfortable with being good. Be great. You can do it. The resources are there. All right? The resources are accessible. The resources are designed for you to get it. Okay, everything I've done, everything the way I've packaged it up for you is to make it as accessible and doable for you as humanly possible. Go to OrishaLifestyle.com. Get enrolled in the School of Orisha Studies as low as $3 a month, $7 a month, $11 a month. You got that. That's like 1 cup of coffee a month that 2 cups of coffee per month that you would not take. You got that $11. You got $21 to invest in your spiritual future and help you to go from being good to being great. Aboro aboye. Aboshishe.